Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a block that is called Friendly Hand. And for that I actually chose, this is from Joann's. They still have it, I got it recently. I chose these two. And now I'm going to lay that there. I'll pull it up in a minute. Both fabrics you're going to need the exact same cuts. You're going to need one strip that's 2 inches by 9 inches, 2 squares that are 3.5 inches, and 4 squares that are 4 inches. So we'll lay that to the side. Now, the 3.5 inch squares, we're not doing anything to them. Just lay them to the side. The strip, however, you're going to sew those together, just 1/4 inch right down. I'm going to iron that open. I already sewed it. I was prepping, and that was part of it for me. So we're just going to iron it open. It's puckered, but I don't care. All right. There we go. So now we're just going to smooth it out. Smooth it out. That's not what it's called. We're going to get a clean edge. So to do that, I just line any one of these lines. I line it up along the sew line, and I'll just cut it off there, put it in my scrap bin. Now we're going to flip it around and we're going to cut, what are we going to cut? We're going to cut 2-inch strips. Just like that, all the way down. And we're going to need 8 sets. Keep cutting. Again, mine's a little bit longer, I think, because I just cut them off of a fat quarter, and it's just easier to cut the whole strip rather than cut it down to 9, because then I give myself a little bit of room for error, which you've watched me long enough, you know. Sometimes I make errors, but that's how you learn. All right, 2 more. And we're going to make these into 4 patches. All right, that I'll use on my scrap quilt. It'll come in handy. So now these, you're just going to flip them over, make them opposite, and pin it. And we're going to sew them up into 4 patches. Pretty simple. The 4-inch blocks, we are going to do half square triangles. So you're going to line them up, one of each color. And we'll draw the line down just like we do. I'll show you in just a second. Need to pin this last one. So you're gonna match them up. I drew my line down the middle by lining up my ruler just corner to corner. And I sewed 1/4 inch on either side. I'm gonna cut that apart. All right, and I will iron it open. And then we'll trim these down. We're going to trim these also to 3.5. So we're going to line up our quarter, or not our quarter, right now we're going to line up our diagonal line as close to this edge as possible. Slice it off, push it away, and then you're going to line up the diagonal and the 3.5, and then slice it off. And you're going to do this to 4 sets. You're going to sew 4 sets, which means you'll be trimming 8 half square triangles. which I also preemptively done the other 6 because I don't think you want to watch me trim 8 half square triangles. And if you do, just rewind this 3 more times because I didn't do it. Sorry. All right, so now you're going to have those. Put that in the thing. I have all mine. There it is. So now I'm going to sew up the 4 patches and I'll be right back then. All right, I'll iron these open. Doesn't matter which way you iron them to. They're all going to buckle the same way. Now we're going to take all these pieces and make 2 of 2 different blocks. I'm going to show you them one at a time. Okay. Ouch. That is hot. So we're going to do this one first. Now bear with me. I've never made this blog before. You're learning it as I'm learning it. We're going to lay it out. This one's going to go just like this and this. And then one of these is going to go like this. So you're going to do this twice. So let's lay it out again. Okay, so now we're going to sew these together before we move on to the next block so we don't get confused. So I'm going to sew, these are 2 separate blocks. We're going to sew these 2 and these 2, and then we're going to sew these together. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I wanted to show you this step because that's what we're doing, step by step, right? So now you're going to have 4 pieces that should be identical, like matching. So now we're just going to, I did it again. I keep doing that with the ironing and stuff. Come on. We're going to iron this to this side because it would be the easiest to switch over to. You don't have to iron them opposite. I iron them opposite because it's easier to line up my seams then. If you're good without it, don't do it. All right. So now we're going to match them up. Flip that down and pin it. Beginning, middle, and end, usually for me. When they're longer pieces at least. Make sure it lays right, then flip it down, pin. I said beginning, middle, and end, but usually I do the middle first and then either the beginning or the end. It doesn't really matter as long as it all gets pinned for me. So now I'm going to go sew these together and then I'll be back to show you them and go with the next 2 pieces we're going to make. All right, let's see. There we go, lined up pretty good. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with both of them. So there's that one, 2 of those. Lay that to the side. Now we're going to move that. We're going to do the same thing with these pieces. This one's going to go almost the same way. You're just going to, got these in 2 different spots. You're just going to kind of do the opposite. Like whichever one this is, you're going to lay that there just like that. So it's the same piece really, just 2 different color styles. So there we go, 2 different pieces. I'm going to sew those and I'm going to go ahead and do that whole step since I showed you on that one. I'm going to get it all put together and then I'll come back and show you how to put the blocks together. All right, those are sewn together. So we'll press them. And now you should have 4 pieces that look almost identical. And the next step is pretty simple. You're just going to take this one, move it here, this one, and move it here. So they're going to be opposite. And they look kind of like the water wheel, but on a bigger scale. So now we're just going to sew those together, and then we'll come back and we'll pin that. All right, sew it together. See, the backs of mine aren't pretty. If you came here for the backs, you're in the wrong spot. I do want to get one of those quilt clappers, or quilter's clappers, I don't know what you call them. It might not lay flat, but you know what I say, it's still going to keep you warm. So let's figure out how we're going to do it. How did it go? This one? That's not how it went. Yes, it is. Silly me. So right there like that. That was a little wonky, whatever. And then we're just going to pin this. We may have to fiddle with the seams because it looks like my middle ones are going the same way. You know what we do to fix that, right? We just re-iron it. And nobody will ever know that we had trouble with it. Not really trouble, just that we didn't do it right. Because I don't have trouble with it. Alright, pin that one. And then I'm going to sew it and I'll be right back to show you the finished product. Let's see how we did. I'm still working on being comfortable with these bigger ones that are more pieces that fit together. But actually, I think I did pretty good. I like it. It is a 11.5-inch block. And then you would just make more and hook them together, like more of the little squares or more of this whole size, because it would just be this one down here again. If you wanted to make a whole quilt like that. There you have it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you make it and love it, and I will see you in the next video.